When most people think of winter, they get disappointed. Or if you're like a lot of people in Michigan, where I live, everyone's like, oh no, it's winter, the worst part of the year. I'm just going to gain weight, or I'm going to get sick, and I'm just going to feel miserable all winter long. And here's where I want to kind of shed some light on that. Because if we actually learn how to take advantage of what winter has to offer, it can provide us with some profound healing opportunities. And we can actually feel great all winter long if we understand how to still utilize the light environment we have in the winter months. So, what do I mean? What is so healing about winter? Well, first and foremost, winter is an opportunity to have an experience of more darkness, shorter days, longer nights. Longer nights means our body's ability to make more pineal melatonin, or melatonin that's made in that gland in our brain. And that pineal, yes, it signals us to go to sleep at night, but at the same time, it also signals our bodies to help run some major repair programs, such as autophagy and apoptosis. So if we can run an adequate amount of autophagy every single night all winter long, that's our body's ability to clean up cellular debris. Essentially, it's one of the ways that our body starts to break down broken dysfunctional proteins and into their individual components called amino acids, and then recycle those amino acids to build brand new proteins that are fully functional. So we can essentially heal at that really deep cellular level. Apoptosis, which also requires adequate amounts of melatonin, is a program that the cells can run if they think that the cell is very dysfunctional. And one of those things about a cell being very dysfunctional is a cell that has the desire to divide uncontrollably. So we're talking about apoptosis being a potential control or preventative mechanism that the body has for cancer. And we have the advantage of winter because we have to, if you live anywhere further from the equator, you're going to have seasonality. You're going to have a period in the winter where there are longer nights, more darkness. More darkness means more melatonin. More melatonin means more opportunity to run these beautiful healing programs. Unfortunately, these days, the vast majority of us were never taught about our light environment and how that could impact our seasonal signaling to the body. So what typically happens in the middle of winter, in a latitude like mine, where the sun sets at around 5 p.m., is that we just flip on every light in the house, and we create an artificially really bright environment in the evening, well in towards bedtime, when we maybe watch TV before bed or scroll on our phone before bed. And that environment is actually one that will suppress melatonin production. So if we can learn how to still, yes, live a modern lifestyle, but with regards to protecting our brain's ability to make adequate amounts of that pineal melatonin, we get the advantage of having more melatonin opportunities in these winter months, and that equates to more deep cellular healing. Now, what's another thing that we would have access to in the winter months? Well, that would be cold. And the cold is another signal that a lot of us don't consider beneficial. And the cold can be beneficial for many, many reasons when it comes to healing. And in fact, if you can start to teach your body how to heat itself up in response to cold, that's called brown adipose tissue activation. And if you can also utilize the your environmental cold exposures in an effective way all winter long, you are going to have a brain boosting benefit that comes from things like enhanced dopamine and norepinephrine. That means enhanced focus and concentration. You're going to have more BDNF produced in your brain, right? That's another one. I'll talk more about those in a separate video. But what you're really going to get here with the cold exposures is you're going to upregulate a lot of different pathways in the body that promote longevity. They promote mitochondrial electron flow, meaning mitochondrial energy production. And so yes, yes, the cold might mean we have to throw on some more layers, maybe put on the gloves, put the boots on, right? It's a lot easier if you live in Michigan, for example, to go outside barefoot right now when we're maybe in the middle of summer, fall, or spring, right? Come wintertime, it takes a little more effort to bundle up, but if you can embrace the cold, you won't have to bundle up as much because your body can generate its own heat, and you can even give yourself more cold exposures that allow your body to run these longevity promoting and health promoting pathways in your body. Another thing about winter that's healing that, again, is not typically built into our modern construct is scarcity. So the winter could be an opportunity to maybe consider what it would feel like to go into bouts of ketosis or do some fasting, do some more extended fasts, or even just to start to engage in some strategic fasting in your life. Because winter would have been a time when perhaps we wouldn't have had the abundant produce, the abundant harvest that we would have had in the fall with all the fruits and vegetables and things like that. And so the winter is designed for a little bit of scarcity. And that scarcity also increases the body's ability to repair itself. So if we can have these bouts of fasting, again, fasting is very synergistic with what I was talking about with darkness and melatonin, because fasting also helps to promote autophagy and apoptosis. Fasting is another way that the body can conserve energy that is required for digestion and utilize that energy for deep cellular repair. I have seen it in my own clinical practice, and I've also heard of many anecdotal stories in other clinical settings where fasting has helped people heal from some pretty quote unquote extreme health challenges, from things like autoimmune conditions to long COVID to irritable bowel diseases. So there's a lot that can be said when we talk about doing strategic fasting, and winter is the perfect time of year to do just that, simply because that would be naturally built into what we would have access and availability to as food resources all winter long. And so again, a beautiful thing that we can start to maybe embrace more come these winter months, when we are going in more into rest, repair, recovery mode, when we're optimizing our body's repair pathways. And so the last thing that I also want to talk about in the winter is the fact that we will potentially want to rest more. And that's not pathological. That's actually something that gets built into us on a seasonal perspective, because where we have periods of productivity, where the temperatures are warmer, where we might need to move more frequently to be able to find, hunt, and gather our nourishment. And that's okay. That's a very active, productive time of year. That actually is enhanced, the increased movement in something like the summer months. Also, it pairs typically with an increase in the amount of carbohydrates we would have available to us. So the food availability that we would have in the summer and the added movement, that triggers a pathway called mTOR. mTOR is a pathway that's designed to build strength, build muscle, right? It's a building, it's very much an anabolic program. Conversely, when we're in periods of lower carbohydrates consumption, periods of more scarcity and potentially more fasting, we're designed to run a different pathway. It's called the AMPK pathway. It's more of a catabolic pathway, but that means that the body gets to break down what's not working and heal it and repair it and fix it so that we can essentially, arise in the spring good as new. And so we would want to take advantage of the fact that it's okay that we may want to rest more, because if we're in rest mode, that means the body has more energy dedicated to all those beautiful healing and repair mechanisms that I've already discussed in this video. So I hope by now you realize that winter truly is an amazing healing opportunity for our bodies if we take advantage of what winter has to offer.